Hey everybody, this is Derek and Crystal Oliver, and we are Budget Me Black. And today is Friday, and it is Financial Freedom Friday. We are on here to coach you guys to financial freedom. And we're so excited about this series we've been having. It's the bomb.com. We have had married couples to come on and talk about marriage, money, and mission. We have some amazing guests on tonight.
Tonight we have Pat Tamika Harrington. Welcome,
Hey,
guys.
man. All right.
It's always good to see y'all. We always, when we bump to y'all and wherever we see y'all in town, we always have fun. We always laugh, and it's always a good time seeing y'all and hanging out with y'all. So thank you guys for making time your busy schedule to come on with us. And share with the people.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, so ever since I've known you, Pat, and this may be the case for you as well, Shamika, you guys have always been entrepreneurs. I mean, we can go way back.
Right.
The Butterworth days, right? Y'all have always been entrepreneurs. So, like, this just off the cuff. Like, when was the last time y'all worked for a company, like worked for an organization?
So for me, it was to answer the question, is 2007 is when was the last time I actually worked for an actual company, and I was kind of forced into it in a sense because the company, I was account executive for a company, and they outsourced the position to Poland. But the thing about it, and they wouldn't let us move to Poland and keep our job. So what happened was, So for me, I was kind of fed up with corporate America anyway. I always wanted to be a family guy. So my dad was in the house, but we didn't really have a relationship. So for me, it was like big on building a relationship with my children. Well, corporate America really didn't allow me to do that because there were days that my children would have things and I would get told no, which is, I mean, it makes sense because you're there to do a job. I think the year told no because of the days off. And so I think the one thing that really made me really want to go and be an entrepreneur was when our anniversary, I wanted to take off, and I was told too many people were off, so you can't go spend your anniversary during the anniversary time with your wife. And at that point, I was like,
wow.
Yeah. There were too many people who had taken that same weekend off, and so I couldn't take off. So I was like, okay, I'm really tired of this. I want to be an entrepreneur. Now, I've been cutting hair since 90. So I graduated in 92. I started cutting hair in 90. I graduated in 91. I started cutting hair in 92. And I started cutting hair because I couldn't afford to get a haircut. I didn't have the money to pay for my own haircut. So I started learning how to cut hair. It took me a semester to really learn how to teach myself. I taught myself. And then from there, it was that's kind of where it just really like, okay, I like this. I like the feeling to be able to make my own money and do, create my own time and space. And when they outsourced the job to Poland, I did a bad thing. I took all of my 401k out. And I did, but I used that as time, right? Whew, it was big. I used it as the time to bridge the gap so I can go to school full time. So I was able to go to school full time for 10 months. I had a 10 months worth of expenses saved up that could keep the bill going until I actually.
Yeah, that was after we paid everything off.
Too. Yeah, we paid everything off. So it was like, let's clear all the debt. Clear all the debt. And then I had 10 months worth of savings saved up so I can go to school full time and not miss a beat without income. And so 2007, I started professionally as a professional master barber, and I hadn't looked back since then. It's been a wonderful journey. Yeah.
Wow.
I would like to say, I would like to say that I was always an entrepreneur. I was not. Patrick pushed me into entrepreneurship. So the truth of the matter, and it's interesting, when it comes to marriage, you want to make sure that your spouse do bring out the best in you. And I can say that I saw that in myself. So this is I need Kleenex. But, you just never know who you will become, and
I like that.
In my wildest dream, I wouldn't have imagined that we will be working, have a business together.
Right.
And that God has truly provided each step of the way. And I would even like to say that it's not to say that it doesn't have its seasons or levels of adventure, because it does, but it also has fear, it has faith. I can remember times when Patrick and I just cried on the floor because we didn't know where it was coming from. But I promise you, we hadn't missed a meal. Our children have been well educated. They are, they didn't, I said they hadn't experienced any negligence, like, or they didn't miss out on anything.
Any lack.
Yeah, no lack. That's it, damn it. No lack.
let me interrupt. I know this is probably way off way we want
to go ahead.
The times that we were in the floor, I think we didn't understand the ebbs and flow of the business we were in. Like every business has a up season and a down season. And so we didn't calculate the down season of our business. And so we were like, okay, we're scratching our head. It's because, we kind of, we just did, at that point, we didn't really manage the money right. We didn't take into account that it's not going to always be this. And so we learned the hard way and through responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I know, listen, y'all, I just ride with us. Hold on. So like Patrick made a good point, because there are ebbs and flows, right? I can say that we were able to survive it during the business because we had survived it during the marriage.
Good.
Wow.
We knew where our source was. So like when I said we were in the floor, we was in the floor praying. And so when it comes to our relationship, you're gonna have those seasons where it's like you clicking on all cylinders. It's like yes. And then you put in that trust factor in one another and in the Lord. By the same token, you'll have those times where it's just like you miscommunicating. It's the tone. You ain't saying it right. You caught me a bad time. But because there were more seasons where we got along and we were able to just kind of,
to
build. That when it was a miscommunication, it's like, okay, where'd it come from? Like, what you doing? Why you say it like that? Why you say it at that time? You were able to ask and overcome. You can bounce back from
and know that that's not the person, because I know who they are. So if this is what happened, let me step back, because that's not their character. You know what I'm saying? That's right. So anyway.
We see the best versions of our spouses, over time, like, oh, I've seen the best versions of my spouse. And if they have an attitude, or if I have say something in the wrong tone, it's like, hi, Derek, man, how you been praying? How you been with the Lord? What's up? Let's communicate. Let's sit down. Let's have, the coming to Jesus meeting. Let's talk about this. And marriages just go through seasons, just like the seasons of the weather. Marriages go through those seasons, and so, and businesses, if the greatest stock and the greatest businesses have ebb and flow up and down, our small businesses would do that as well.
That's true.
So
awesome. What can I ask this question? What all do you have going on, right? And so I know y'all have several things. I believe, Patrick, that you are pastoring a church, and you have some other things going on. You have a ministry. You guys do business together. So what all do you have going on? And y'all appearance.
So during the pandemic, August of 2020, we started. We started Inspire Church. So it's been a year old now, and that's been interesting. It's an interesting animal, mainly because of the way it's anti-cultural. In other words, predominantly how African Americans view church. In Memphis, it's way off that scale. So it's been interesting from that standpoint.
And doing it during the pandemic.
And
where it's no longer like that people, like the close-knit community, or so discovering that.
Barber. So the barber is the main thing. That's the thing.
For
barber
finances.
For finances, right. I've been what do I want to say? I sprinkle life insurance here and there.
Okay.
I hadn't really put a lot of energy into building life insurance, but that's what I'm about to do now, because I'm trying to fire myself as a barber.
Retire
myself as a barber, because the life insurance is going to create more opportunity for residual income, which allowed me to spend more time in the ministry. So the purpose for doing the barbering is to do more ministry work. Go ahead.
That's a good point too. Like, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but like when it comes to the things that you choose to do, especially everyone that's listening, make sure that you always know that it has a platform. Like, what is the main purpose? Yeah, it's haircuts, but it, you know, in Patrick's case, it was to minister to the men in the community.
Oh yeah, that's deep.
So make sure that whatever that platform is, that it serves a purpose.
Right.
You're not just doing it just for the money. If you ever do it just for the money, you miss the mark.
Right. So that initially, that's exactly what happened. Is that the barber became a part where I can minister to people who don't go to church. And during that time, it was more so the guys with the gold teeth and the Tims and like people 20 minutes and just to serve them and ask that question, you know? And so that became
get in their words.
So that was barbering. And the reason for barbering, it's funny, the reason for barbering was ministry. Life insurance, the reason for life insurance was ministry. That's what the guy who mentored me, he said, you have to look at it as a ministry because you're helping bring hope and healing to people who lost. And then his wife, her husband is the third thing that we do. And as far as together, that's the third thing we do. And that was also, from a ministry standpoint, people were asking us a lot of questions about marriage. And it was pretty much the same question over and over again. So it's like, okay, how do we contact more people at the same time? And creating the YouTube channel, his wife, her husband, was that avenue that allowed us to be able to do that. So yeah, that's it. So what was it? Barbering, life insurance, his wife, her husband, ministry, and my wife is a manicurist. And she does the same thing. Pretty much minister to the women during her, she said, speak for me. And so she ministers to the ladies. When we were, so at one point we were working together in the same space.
Thank God for doors and walls, amen.
Thank God for
all of them need to come down and all of them need to look open.
And here's the thing though, we created it in such a way that so I worked in a traditional barbershop where it's everybody. But then there were, especially for men wouldn't open up. I found that men would open up when it's just me and the guy in the chair, the guys, and we're the only two ones there. They cry, they confess, they get it out. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, whoa, it's something different.
Life changes.
Yeah.
Life changing when they can connect. Because a lot of times, especially in our community, there's no father present, there's no male voice present, and especially godly, like it's just not there. And so
yeah. So that's it. That's all we do. We're gonna add something else to the
Well, yeah, no.
That's it.
That's all you need right there.
But then, you know, what's so funny? It's now there's a balancing act. You know what I'm saying? Of how do you, because if that's so many things, how can one really extremely, I think that's right, succeed? Because you got too many things going on. You have to create a balance where, you know, so most of my time is focused on one thing and the others become slide in.
But you know what? Patrick said something and y'all just ride with me. Just ride with me. So when it comes to success and how it's measured, you have to make sure you stay according to the vision. So now, like in our marriage, we always wanted to cultivate togetherness,
friendship,
unity. And so there are things that we do together. But like when it comes to life insurance, now it's so funny when Patrick pursues an endeavor, he has my support. Like, let's just try it and see. Why? We want to give God the glory. Sometimes the world sees it as the jack of all trade or the Jackie of all trade. It just depends on how your perspective is. But in my mind, it's like, I want to make sure that everything that God has put inside of me, it is not left wondering. It is already open and developed, and we can see what that gift is. And so whether, I used to be a Mary Kay consultant. And one of the things that I used to always tell the Lord, thank you for, was the opportunity. And if I could just do one lip gloss and be able to share a story with one woman to change her life, mission accomplished. That was
amen.
So I didn't measure it in just numbers. And I do want to share that even with the couples and everyone that's listening. Don't just measure your success based on the commas that's in your bank account. That could never give you the richness of what you were really put on earth for. It's more so just a resource to make sure that you are able to serve and do better. But other than that, but no, the main mission is giving God the glory and enjoying the
Yes.
So us doing church together, us having exclusive impressions together, his wife, her husband together, like Patrick and I really like being together. By the same token, there are things that you can do on the side that just feed back into you. Like for me, I am in getting ready to pursue, or I am now in pursuit of being an author. I enjoy writing. I enjoy reading. So Patrick encouraged me, go and do that. So, completion of one. And so we're going to keep seeing what the Lord make of that. And when he said that assignment is up, sidebar, but it's on point. Once you finally meet that max, we know what it means to let go and release.
Right.
Like we don't have to just keep staying.
Right.
Like, no, that assignment is up.
Right.
Over. Yeah.
Right. I think one of the things that we do, like we really are in prayer about what does God want. And if he decides that this is over with, and then we move on. We don't just like, I'm done, but we create
it's that adventure.
Create an exit strategy. Make sure we exit properly and still give God glory in the process.
Right. I heard somebody talk about that. It's like, it's hard to go into the next thing that God has for you unless you exit something else. And so a lot of times we don't want to exit because it feels, sometimes it's hard to do or whatever it is, but or we're afraid of what's in front of us. But without that exit, it's hard. We can't enter to the next thing that God has for us. So I love that.
You know what, Kristen, there too, I want to share this too. Like, even though you may be hearing like we do a lot of things, we don't do them all at the same time. But I will say that it has definitely served a purpose in keeping that spice or that variety and that adventure. So we're not flatlining, it's like if I know at one season, like we had even gone through a silence. Quiet. That was quiet.
Y'all, that's our problem. Y'all just quiet only.
Quiet.
You gotta be quiet. That's
we're not quiet.
When you really listen to the Lord. Go ahead, babe. I'm with you.
So his wife, her husband went through just this silent season, right? But that doesn't mean that it was over. But we were working on each other. So like you have to make sure that everything is done in decency and in order, and that requires balance. That requires putting things maybe on a back burner. It means putting things on a shelf. That doesn't mean that it's not going to ever be worked again. It's just that it's not this.
So here she said something that we actually did. We actually took a Excel spreadsheet and we color coded everything that we do. Make sure if like, do you want to do this? Yes. Do you not want to do this? All right, we're putting that to the side. Find a space for it. And we got on there Sabbath. We have on there each other. We have family. Like it's actually color code and blocked out. If there's a white area or white space, well, that's the space where we have to kind of be, I guess, spontaneous, or we can do something, or nothing.
Yeah.
Because we have so many things on our plate, we had to, or else we would be frustrated and stressed because it's not it's not there, it's not on the calendar, it's not set aside, or time is not set aside for you to get whatever done that's your big rocks in life.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So man, y'all really unpacked a lot of things about being busy, about pouring out so much into other people, into the community. How do you go about getting refreshed and getting self-care? Because you guys seem like you just pour out.
And
busy.
they have raised 5 kids.
They
have raised 5 kids.
Yeah, that's true.
In the midst of all that.
Make it plain, Chris.
So let me go in terms of let me
That's
go with the philosophy
it's a
that I
challenge
have
for business
about
owners too. I mean, it's a challenge. So to find rest and feel like you give yourself permission to rest and to and give yourself self-care. Yeah. So how do you go about refreshing yourself?
So here's the thing. So let me give you a couple of things. I'm gonna do it from a marriage standpoint and then tie it in. So my philosophy about marriage, especially talking about married with children, is that there should be at least 4 vacations a year. One where the whole family go out, you know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about elaborate vacations, all right? It could be staycations, it could be just for a weekend, a night, whatever. So one should be the entire family. One should be just the husband and the wife, all right? One should be where the wife goes off by herself and there's no husband saying, baby. Yeah. Yeah, it should be one. And it should be one.
She just did one of those.
I just did that like 2 weekends
ago.
So
yeah,
really?
More of that, yeah.
So there should be one where the husband's off by himself and he don't have a honey-do list.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. On your way back from New Orleans, stop by the store. So that's the philosophy that I have that kind of keeps everything fresh and it makes you miss people, so forth and so on. So even in what we do now on a regular basis, we have set aside time. Now we have a date for us. It came about because we were both, entrepreneurs in terms of barbering and manicures. Monday is pretty much that off day. So that's where it came from. And so Monday became our date day. All right. That means during the date day from 8 to 3 and now 8 to 6 sometimes, from 8 to 3, I don't answer the phone. I don't answer a text message. We could be in the same restaurant, Derek, and you might say, hey, you might call me. I'll look it up and put it back down because during that time, now if you walk to the table, I'll speak, but if you texting me, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be.
Like if you walk up to me, I'm
like, nah, bro, man, me and my wife, chill out. No, but I don't. So that time is, if I can say it's sacred, like that's her time. Nobody gets in the way, whether we mad at each other or not. We're gonna spend them 8 hours looking at each other for 8 hours in the room and not say nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's strategic. Because if we're in the same room for a long time, eventually one of us is going to ask a question of that ice. It's going to be broken, and we'll ask or we'll get to the bottom of why we're upset at each other. All right, now I do a Sabbath now from 6 p.m. on Sunday to 6 p.m. Monday night. Now the Sabbath is kind of included with my wife day, but from that time, I'm refreshing myself. I'm pulling back from church. I'm pulling back from business. I'm pulling back from numbers and all that kind of stuff, which was hard for me to do because I'm always thinking crunching numbers. I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. Okay, babe, I know that's coming up, but that ain't till 2022. I know, but let's get it together now. Let's figure out. So for me, I have to force myself to do that, to say, okay, wait a minute, let me pull back and do absolutely
back and relax
and just absolutely nothing. That's one thing for me. And just quiet myself and get somewhere.
And you know what?
And let nobody interrupt. A guy called Sunday night.
Let me interrupt.
Okay.
That was funny. But and then pulling back and relaxing, like if you don't get it, I think that a lot of times we don't see the importance of it. Like when you do stop, you actually become more creative.
Yeah.
And I think that our view of it has been skewed. And so now you're bringing it back in together, like this is needed. If it was not needed, it wouldn't have been commanded.
Right.
Right.
Now here's what we do. We go to a place. I'll give you a secret. I'm gonna give him a secret. I gotta give him a secret.
Don't tell them.
All right.
Place.
So there's a park in Militon. We don't know nobody in Militon, and don't nobody know us in Militon. And so we'll go there and just enjoy what God created.
Go hiking.
Yeah.
Just try something new. That's another thing too. Try something new. Like resting doesn't mean sleep.
Good.
Right.
Resting means stepping away. You know, just pull back for a minute.
Right.
You know. And I don't know if they came with us aging, because I can't say that we were always there.
True.
But yeah, definitely it's like, and just hear me out. Like now in this season that we are in, as far as this, you know, with the viruses and stuff happening, like I know we have experienced loss, but truly the world will keep going.
Right.
And so if you don't take time to invest in yourself and the people that you care about, it's like, we just have to make the necessary adjustments to what is best, because we don't know if we don't get the next thing. Right. We just don't know.
There's a neighborhood, it's a real quiet neighborhood near my job. I actually drive through the neighborhood with all of the, like, I don't have on any music or anything. I roll down the windows, whether it's cold or if it's you know, hot, whatever, and I just let the silence minister to me.
Yeah.
I do that. I know by the time I hit that barbershop, it's on the go. So I allow that little drive, and I just calm myself, and I just soak in the silence right before it's time for me to get busy. And that's another thing. That's every time I go to work. So that's 5 days a week that I do that. Yeah.
Love that. So we're gonna I'm gonna ask y'all one last question, because we could go on all night.
Right.
We could go on all night. But what advice would you guys give to another couple that's considering doing ministry together, or even considering doing business together? What you know, maybe top 2 things or top 3 things that you will tell another couple?
Oh, look at me, I'm let you guys. I can talk about it already.
Okay, so I will say that Patrick and I have been married for 24 years. So the advice I'm getting ready to give came through experience. You want to make sure that you communicate very well.
Yeah. Like
make sure that your communication is in order, meaning that now the communication is going to come as a result of a friendship too, because you should be able to kind of read each other without communicating like with words. So you kind of tell maybe he's not having a good day, or maybe things just like he may be a little off. He need time away. Like you just have to figure out how to understand each other's communication language. I know we talk about love language a lot, but communication language all up in a bunch. The other thing too would be setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Setting healthy boundaries. So like Patrick and I try not to bring home business and ministry a lot. That doesn't mean that we don't do it, but it's like our home is a sacred space too. Like for us to just be us. Like he doesn't have to be Pastor Pat
correct.
At home. Like he can just be boo to me. Like that's he's just my boo. And it's okay for him to chill out. Like it's a safe place. He doesn't have to figure out he doesn't have to figure out everything. Like it's okay for us to, now that we have young adult children, like we'll include them in some things so that they can help give us some feedback. Right. Because sometimes we can have an old way of doing things when God has something brand new, fresh. And I have learned that your help is in the house. So if you do the couple, if you do have children, don't exclude them, like include them, because they are the next generation. And always remember, your help is in the house. That's that healthy boundaries. That means I don't always have to go looking. It's right here. And then what?
I know. So I thought you were going to go more into the boundaries and communication, because you don't want to take. As happy as we are a lot of times, we're not sometimes too. So you don't want to take that and you don't want to take that to work. Like, you know, even if you remember now, for what, 6 years, 5 years, we worked together in the same place. So even we're driving to work. So now listen, we work together, we church together, we play, like everything we're always around each other. You're gonna have times when you're not gelling. So when we're driving to work, that drive is pretty quiet. When we get to work, we don't want to, now I'm not saying be fake, but you want to be cordial because you have a business to run as well.
Amen.
And you don't want to bring that argument, that friction around your customers because they feel it. And then now they feel uncomfortable. So we're cordial, but it's time to do business as well. So we can do business and be cordial with one another without bringing the clients into it. Like,
you know what? We learn how to table it. Yeah. Table it. Like, this is not in the place. Table it. Okay, go.
Right. No, that's good. We
started saying it. Was table it. And then sometimes through the course, it is so funny. Now listen, this is marriage, right? So here we go. So sometimes I would tell Patrick, like, this is the good part of working together. He could be cutting hair and he'd be a certain way, be like, oh, you look good. I'm like, I miss you. You know, that's a way. That's a way to bring it back into perspective, because you'll be seeing your spouse working and they in their zone and their element, and it's just attractive.
Right.
So it didn't last long once you enjoy each other. So yeah.
So, but in all that we gave is built on two things: relationship with God and relationship with your spouse. In other words, there has to be a friendship, not just you have to like each other too, as much as you love each other. So that friendship makes me not want to hurt my friend or do my friend wrong. So if they're going into business together, make sure you create boundaries or boundaries, depending on what town you're from, and make sure you communicate well. Make sure you communicate well. And by communicating, I mean learn how to listen. Not listen with the intent to correct, but listen with the intent to just understand. You know, and if you're doing that, even as business partners, hear your business partner out with the intent to understand, okay, if I heard you correctly, this is what you're saying we should do. And then
why should we do that? Yeah. You know, like, and it's okay for you to ask.
Yeah, and have those constant communication, marriage and making living together.
Okay, one more thing. You brought the making a living. So one of the things that I will also suggest and recommend is the finances, making sure that you have a specific place to be able to run your business and home out of. In our case, Patrick and I ran both of them together because the entrepreneur may have been a network marketing, or, you know, it wasn't an actual, you know, place, like an actual place in the brick and mortar is what I'm trying to say. Right. So, so you want to make sure that you have the finances assigned so that it's not just up in the air. Just because you get $1,000 from a client, that doesn't mean that you go and buy, you know, the red bottoms. Like, no, you don't get to do that. It's assigned, and then you work on goals together. Or either you say, okay, we made this amount. This is our goal. Let's say our goal is 10,000 for the month. If we reach 12,000 for the month, then that 2,000 we'll set aside and we'll divide. And, you know, you can go and get what you want to get, and I can get what I want to get, or that extra is to whatever it is that you want to do as a family. We're gonna go on vacation, like. But that 10,000 is non-negotiable.
Yeah, it's already got a place. Got a name on it.
Yeah, and we're gonna end because I know you want to keep it short. We have a rule. We have what's called a spending plan. The spending plan is called the rule of 10-10-20. So even out of whatever we make, 10%. So for us, we do 10%. We do 10% to the church. Now here's the part where it differs from most people. The other 10% is our 10%, meaning you can splurge, you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can go down the Mississippi River and throw it in, whatever. That's your 10%. Like, somebody on a canoe going for it.
Look, tell me the day that y'all do that.
And then you have 20%. So you got 10, 10, 20, 10% to God, 10% to yourself, and 20% savings. Now, all of that came from the scriptures. So Joseph told Pharaoh, he said, while things are going good, take 1/5. Let everybody in the kingdom take 1/5 and store it. 1/5 store it. 20% store it. 20% save it. So I think, okay, if it worked for an entire nation, how much would it work for a household?
Amen.
So we do 10, 20, and then we make sure, we try to make sure our expenses don't exceed the 60.
Good.
I love it. I love it. I feel like that second 10 actually will motivate you to, a lot of times we people feel restricted with the spending plan, but I like the idea of like, okay, go spend 10% on yourself, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so this was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Awesome. Man, y'all just laid some gems out. Man, y'all was transparent, open about your marriage and being real to people, to the Budget Me Black community. So man, we're so glad to have y'all on to share and give us real business nuggets, real marriage nuggets. So thank y'all for coming on and sharing, man. We really appreciate y'all.
How do people find y'all? How do people find y'all?
So you can go, so actually we have a YouTube page, and you can go to His Wife, Her Husband, and His Wife is one word, her husband is one word, and you can go, and that's probably the closest thing to find us. And we have an email address. You can email us if you want to email us and talk to us, and that's His Wife, Her Husband 97 at gmail.com. His Wife, Her Husband 97 at gmail.com. And also forgot we got Instagram, which is Instagram, which is it His Wife, Her Husband 97? I think it's His Wife, Her Husband 97, and that's our Instagram. She said we do.
I have to disconnect from social media sometimes.
Yeah. So the social media product is mostly ran by me. So, but yeah. So we on Instagram. So yeah, that's how you can find us.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much. And everybody, y'all know how to find us. We're at budgetmeblack.com. If y'all need any help with your spending plan, we talked about a spending plan, budgeting, debt reduction, savings. We want to help you do it all. We want to help you get it on paper, see it before you spend it, so you know what you have. And so thank y'all so much again for joining us tonight. We are so grateful, and we'll see y'all later.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right. Take care.